What's up, everybody? Super stoked. We're back here on the T8 Outdoors podcast. I got my buddy Johnny Zarvos. He's a good buddy that we met at the gym, go to church, and shoot turkeys together. So, Johnny, welcome to the podcast. If you could just give yourself a little intro, who you are, what you do, and your little hunting background, I'd be stoked.
My name's Johnny Zarvos, as he said. Obviously, me and Derek both have the bow hunting in common. I try and squeeze in my bow hunting and archery in between four kids and owning an electrical business, which is pretty tough in its own just to find the time, but something that's definitely my meditation and my escape.
Yeah, absolutely. Getting out in the woods and just being able to breathe. Yeah, so what got you into bow hunting?
Funny thing, my son got into hunting, or not hunting, but just shooting bows with my dad. My dad shot archery for years now, and started taking my son just as a granddad and grandson thing. And my son, who's 18 now, I think he was 8 at the time, maybe, or maybe even younger when he started shooting with my dad, probably younger, and told me, Dad, I want you to start shooting bows too, so we can go hunting together. And I'm like, all right, well, the archery didn't sound that appealing until you used the word hunting. Now I'm interested. So from there on, it was just getting into the bows, learning what I liked, realizing I could shut off work, kids, stress, drama just by focusing on that target. So it became a meditation for me at the beginning. And then the hunting, as frustrating as it was the first probably 4 years before I finally killed an animal, watching YouTube make it look easy and getting out in the woods and finding out it wasn't.
Right.
Just ready to give up several times. Luckily, I had buddies that told me to stick to it and just became my passion after sticking with it.
Heck yeah, man. It's that's what I try to promote a lot on this channel is, getting out into the woods to clear your mind, but I want to dive more into bow hunting and not just bow hunting, it's just shooting archery. And like there's so many different steps to archery. You got put your bow up, pull your bow back, calm your breathing, get your sight tape on, on target, rest your hand, get your hand into your knock position right on under your jawline, but right next to your ear. And it's just all those steps is like you're able to focus on that and not whatever you got going on in life, like you just go to the range and like Johnny said, it's a meditation. I highly recommend it. If anyone's listening to this podcast and like you're looking for a way to, get out of your head, get your mind into something productive and fun, and it's fun too. Like if you look in the background here on our YouTube channel, Johnny's got his old bow set up station, and like you can build arrows, tune your bows, work on your cameras, like all that stuff. Like it's a healthy passion. I mean, everything costs money. It's it gets expensive, but if you're paying, if you're doing what you love, then it's not expensive, dude. It's just you're just living life, man.
And
So John, like, all right, so I had never shot a turkey in my entire life. Like it looked cool. Like I'd always want to, but it was always kind of tough. But Johnny was able to help get me out into the woods. So Johnny, if you could just kind of touch on what we were able to do in up north there, and like how you helped me out and hunting, I'd be stoked. We're
I think I was
skipping.
glitching out a little bit there, but I got most of it. You were talking about turkey. You're
Yeah, yeah.
skipping a little bit.
My internet blows. Yeah, if you could just touch on like how like our hunt, how we were up there hunting turkeys up north, and how you're able to help me, get set up where the turkeys were coming in, all that stuff. So if you could just like tell people how we did that, so they could have. Because I like this podcast for basically like the mom and son, or mom and daughter, dad, daughter, all that stuff. Just like how just the logistics behind it and how you can get out into the woods and how you just get set up. So can you just like, if you could remember that far back, I don't even remember what I had for breakfast yesterday, but yeah, if you could just tell the listeners how we did that.
Well, the greatest thing about hunting with Derek is it just, despite his disability and his attitude is so great just to have that disability. It just reminds us how much we take for granted. Me and my son have been hunting turkey for 10, 12 years, and we can, just tend to fake it a little bit, sneak in the woods. They do have eyes like an eagle. They'll freaking see you a mile away. So, I mean, you can still take a little bit for granted with me and my son, sneaking in the woods, trying to stay out of view of the roost tree, getting in the morning before they see us and getting in a good spot. But when you take someone like Derek into the woods, you really got to be on your game because you got to get in there and
Loud.
it's loud dragging a wheelchair through the woods at
Ain't
4:30 in the morning.
quiet.
I mean, everything knows you're in the woods when you're dragging someone with a wheelchair. So I think it kind of is humbling experience at the same time. It makes you realize how easy we do have it and how Derek's challenges in life face him, yet his attitude is just so great. So it just makes you just totally humbled when you hunt with someone like Derek, and then it makes you realize how much we take for granted every day. But back to the logics of it, I mean, you gotta really find a path. You almost got to go ahead the day before and find a path to get somebody in with a wheelchair and find a way that's going to be the most quietest and out of sight of the roost tree. Not wake up the whole woods dragging a freaking metal chair through the woods in the morning, but you got to pay attention. All the branches that we can duck around and, get underneath are going to be in the way and you're going to drag through them with someone like Derek. So definitely create some more challenges, but definitely way more rewarding when you do get those kills out in the woods with someone like Derek and get to see the look on his face when he shoots something. And I just think it's just such a humbling and such a rewarding experience. At the same time, you just got to take into account more of the things that we take for granted every day and plan ahead a little bit better, scout a little bit better, get a plan of attack a little bit better than you normally would. There's really no room for faking it till you make it that morning. You got to really have a plan when you get someone like Derek out there, but it's still just such a great feeling to see, despite his inability to walk, that he's still able to do, these things that make us all happy, like getting in the woods, hunting, and still able to enjoy, some of the things that, a lot of people have never experienced in life. It's just crazy. It's like they say, what you go into the woods with, you don't always leave with. So it's my way of letting go of the real world, letting go of the things that don't matter, and just focusing on God and nature and the hunt. I mean, it really is a freaking resetting hobby and sport.
Heck yeah, man. And you said something earlier there in your talk right there, how rewarding it is to hunt with with me being in a wheelchair and like and like a positive attitude I have or whatever. So I just want to let you, like, any outfitters in Alaska who are listening to this, who want to take a guy in a wheelchair moose hunting or caribou hunting or grizzly bear hunting, just listen to what my man, he speaks knowledge and facts. So it's great. It's good for your soul. It's good for your life, and you should take me out. I don't know. I'll bless you. I'll bless you. I'm just kidding. Anyway, getting out of there. I've been dreaming. I've been watching moose hunting videos all morning, man, and it's just like, oh, I'll just take a loan out. It's only $30,000, and like, it is what it is. But yeah, so like that morning, when me, Johnny, and his boy went out, like we came across, like when we first got there, we came across a gate, and my wheelchair was too wide to get through the gate, so I had to plop out on, had to get out of the chair, get onto the floor, and then freaking GI Joe crawl under the gate. And we GI Joe crawled under the gate, got on the other side. They picked my wheelchair up, And meanwhile, you're trying to do this as quiet as possible because you're not trying to spook the woods. But like Johnny said, like if you when you're helping somebody in a wheelchair, like get into the woods, like everything for a quarter mile can hear you coming, like your fingers are crossed. And so you anyway, we got out there, got on the other side of the gate, threw the wheelchair over the gate, and I got back in. And then we're just going through, and it's like every branch you roll over, it's like snap, crack, crock, you're getting there. And we're coming down to this creek, and we go down to this little hill, and we're side hilling on a creek. And we're coming up to like the roost area, and we get up to the trees, and you can see the turkeys up sitting up in the trees, and they're just staring at us. They're like, look at these dumbasses, dude, trying to get out into the woods. But it was cool, man. It was what it was. And we chilled there until they obviously knew we were sitting at the bottom. But it was tough. That was one setup. And another setup we set up by that old dilapidated barn, remember, on our
Oh
first
yeah.
day, right out on the field. And set up next to, I forgot, I don't think it was a hay bale. It
Well,
was.
there's the barn in your background right there. Look behind you.
Yeah, yeah, the barn on the photo right there. That's where we shot it. But on the other side is like where, so there's just this little spot, and then you put bushes, and you put like anything around you that can make you blend into your environment. That's why we wear camo. That's why we do what we do. It's it's hard. It is what it is. Like we can get it done. There's just a lot more logistics to it. And we were blessed. And that morning, Johnny, he took off with his bow. And me and his boy were sitting there. And I had an air rifle, and all the turkeys came in, and I was able to put that air rifle right on the head. And craziest story too, shot my turkey, and it died standing up on its feet. Like it was deader than a doorknob. So when I shot it, it flipped and flapped and feathers and all that shit, and then it landed on its feet, and then it died landing on its feet. And I don't think Johnny's never seen anything like that. I've sent the photo to a couple of people, and everyone was tripping out. But you never. That's the kind of stuff you're not going to see sitting on the couch. You know what I mean?
Yeah, an
And
exploding deer.
yeah, like an exploding deer. Yeah, right. Um, that was good fun. But Johnny's a successful bow hunter now. That you got how many deer do you got under your belt now?
5 deer now, 4 deer now, only four.
4 deer,
Yeah,
all bucks or any
one
does?
doe,
One
one
doe,
doe.
cool. Yeah, and then we could obviously see behind him. He's got some tail feathers and
Oh yeah, turkey's my fave. So deer's fun, but I love turkey. Just the vocalization all day. It's just awesome. I guess it's
right.
a poor man's elk hunt, right?
Yeah, especially in the springtime when they're mating. And so we were looking for turkeys too later that day, and we were driving around in the car. And we come across this property, and probably 30 turkeys just walking around, just sitting there. And what's the sound you make with your voice to when you were calling them? It's not the gobble. It's
The
you're saying it's a
kiki,
word, and you say like, what did you say?
the kiki word.
Yeah.
Well, I do it with a mouth diaphragm usually, but just to screw around. I mean, they'll respond if you just get out there, just make
But
a little bit of a raspy freaking kiki.
that's all you say,
But
Kiki?
yeah, I'm not an expert, but it's basically the call. It's the hen's call to call them all back. So it kind of gets them to alert and call back and see where everybody's at. And it'll work. I mean, honking your horn will work sometimes just to make these things, gobble.
Yeah. So what's the difference between the Kiki and like why do they make that sound?
So the key is usually the hen calling everybody back because the hen's, responsible for gathering everybody up and getting them to go back to the roost or getting them to fly down in the morning. You'll hear the hens more often than the gobbles, but the gobbles are just a callback to let them know, hey, I'm over here. Sometimes they use the gobbles to, alert that there's another gobbler in the area and they'll get ready to fight. So you don't hear a whole lot of the gobbles right away first. You'll always hear the hen first, and then the gobbles will follow. It seems like that's my experience, of course. But yeah, the gobbles are, your males are doing their gobble through their throat and just calling back. It's just their vocalization of like, hey, I'm over here. Whereas the hen is more of like the herder when trying to get everybody together and find out where everybody's at. And the hens are the ones that you'll usually see first too. They're the ones out scouting. Usually the boss hen will come out and scout the area, and half the time she'll freaking give your location away and tell everybody else get the hell out of here. There's somebody up here. So I mean you'll see and hear the hens more than you will the gobblers, but the gobblers are definitely fun and out there. And when you hear them, it's definitely hair raising.
Yeah, that's awesome. I can't wait to experience spring turkey hunting. When we went up there, it was up in the fall, and they weren't vocal at all. They're just we were just sitting there waiting for an ambush, and we were able to get an ambush hunt in and plop them.
Well, spring is definitely more vocal. That's why spring opener is my favorite because they're not pressured yet. They're still freaking vocal. Once they get pressured a little bit, they'll be a little more hesitant to be vocal and to respond to calls and stuff like that. But yeah, we're definitely going this spring for opener. Check it out.
What's the species or the species of turkey that's in the central to northern California area?
You know what? I've gotten asked that before, and it's a Rio, but it's a mix up there. So let me look if it's a mix between a Rio and a Merriam, but it's
Yeah, because I just had a buddy on my last podcast. He's going for his turkey slam and he's a quadriplegic and he was saying that he's got to come out to California and shoot a Miriam and I didn't know what's going on in central to northern California. What kind of species or breed is that?
Yeah, they're the Rios up there most likely, but there is a mix up there. I was trying to see what they've mixed with. It's mostly Rio, but if I remember right, someone told me that they mix with the Merriams up there as well. But mostly you're going to see the Rio Grandes up in Tuolumne County where we hunt. Yeah, I don't
How
see I don't see what the other mixes are up there.
what's how can you tell the difference? Is it like
It's the coloring. It's all the
colored?
coloring. Yeah, I'm not an expert on it. Something I
Right.
should probably know being a turkey hunter, but I'm not a big expert on the species.
Man, I see those turkeys down in Mexico. You know what turkey I'm talking
Oh,
about?
yeah, the ones that look like peacocks.
Oh my gosh, those things are gorgeous, dude.
Dude, when I first saw one of those, I thought it was something out of the show Avatar. It didn't even look real when I saw a picture
Yeah,
of one.
100%. Yeah, when I first saw it too, I thought it was some tomfoolery going around with photo editing, but
No, those are beautiful birds down there. They're small, but they're beautiful. I'd love to get one day.
I would full body mount that thing for sure. It's just gorgeous. If you guys are listening to this podcast, check out I don't know, Mexican turkeys. Is that what you call
They're
them?
what is it? It's I want to say Osceola, but it's not. It's nothing like looking it up.
Guacamole turkey.
It is here it is right here. It is ocellated turkey.
Oscillated, that's right. Yeah, that sounds
Ocellated turkey.
incredible birds, you guys. If you have a chance to check it out, that'd be amazing. But so you have a little bit of experience too hunting down here. So turkey and deer mainly are what your Central California. Where were we located? Like, is that considered Central or Northern California?
That's central. It's Tuolumne County, so it's Jamestown, Sonora area where we hunt up near Yosemite. And
Okay, yeah, yeah. You're getting into the northern, but you're not
we're at the
quite
base of the
northern.
Sierras, so you get into all the X zones and stuff above there. But our area that we hunt is D6, and that's the property.
Yeah, yeah. Beautiful, beautiful area, beautiful land up there. Like people harp on California a lot, and that's just mainly because our political scheme, but it is probably the most beautiful state out there geography wise, and it's just gorgeous. So if you hear people harping on California, just know it's only politics, and we really don't have an option there. But so you have a little bit of experience hunting Southern California too, down in the San Diego area. How do you compare the turkey population from north central to southern? Like how?
Definitely a harder hunt, San Diego. They're more dispersed. I mean, we're hunting private land up in Central Cal, so it's kind of cream of the crop hunting, but a
Right,
lot of pressure, a lot of bow hunters, a lot they're spread out, but there are some monster turkeys. If you look, I think the world record turkey was shot just right there in Julian at the base of Mount Laguna where we hunt up there. And there are some big monster turkeys. I got a monster tom out of there 2 years ago with my 7 year old up at Mount Laguna. But definitely a harder hunt. But the biggest difference between the turkeys there and the turkeys in Central Cal is the taste. Something about what they're eating up there, they're getting into something different. Sage, I don't know if they eat sage or what it is, but they're a lot more that gamey, and some
right.
people hate that word
Grizzly.
gamey because they're like, it's game, it should taste gamey, but definitely a taste difference between the ones we shoot up at my private land where they're just eating acorns and grass all day and they taste like a butterball turkey, whereas the San Diego ones, it's a wild turkey that you're eating. But
It's that's crazy. Sorry, go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
the hunt's a lot harder, obviously, a lot more pressure. They're a lot more spread out, a lot more land for them to go. Where the ranches we're hunting, they're kind of staying on those ranches and easy to pattern and easy to get on a flock there.
Yeah, and if being blessed like that to be able to hunt private property, you're able to set up and you know what the turkeys are doing. But down in public land, down in San Diego, it's just a lot of bushes, a lot of trees, and wheelchair hunting down there is extremely hard, extremely hard. Just the type of terrain, but like public spots where you could access and even have a chance at a turkey because when they're getting pressured from all the other hunters and whatnot is they'll go deep, they'll go hide way back in the thicket, and it's just really not conducive for a wheelchair guy to pluck one. But never say never, I've had situations where I just, your mind gets blown. It's amazing to see what God has prepared for those who are called according to his purpose, like it says in Romans. So it's just amazing. But so what do you have planned coming up this year? Let's say work is out of don't we're not bringing up work. What do you have? What would you like? How would you like to have your game plan play out?
Well, work's definitely getting busier, so I think this year I'm going to be more creative and selective in my hunts. So I think me and you will go opener to the property up in March. We'll hit opener for sure, and I want to take a few days off to have a good trip up there and put some birds down. And then obviously we got tack on the calendar this year, so Total Archery Challenge coming in Utah in July, and then of course it'll be turkey again in the fall, but I'm just going to be selective. I may or may not go for fall turkey. I may just focus on deer this year. There's some big deer coming through the property up there.
Big
And I
deer. Yeah.
think I may just focus on it's kind of nice because there is a time period where they overlap where it is turkey and deer at the same time. So maybe I'll just time it out to where we can get up there during that overlap and put down some birds and deer at the same time. But I'm definitely going to be more selective about quality hunts instead of quantity this year. Whereas I like to just get away every now and then. I think I'm going to focus more on taking time off and doing more of a longer, more quality hunt this year instead of a quick, you know, warrior weekend.
Yeah, because then you're still gonna like no matter what, you're still gonna have work on your mind while you're doing that because you're trying to bang out a hunt and you might get your tactics might get a little sloppier, like knowing that your time schedule is, scrunched. But I think I'm stoked you brought up tack. So if do you do you remember when we were down in Julian and we did that hunt? or no, that 3D archery shoot, and I was in my track chair, and that's the first time me and you have shot 3D archery, and
Was that the
it's just
first or was it YMCA? YMCA? Are you thinking about the YMCA one?
yeah.
And up in Julian. Oh, I was thinking of Bow Disciples. You're right. So the YMCA one we did together for the first time when you brought your big tank tracker wheelchair out, right?
Yeah, yeah, man. So all right, so it was crazy. Like it was cool. We had some good terrain, and I was able to take that track chair. I love that action track chair. I'd take it out on all of my 3D shoots, and it's able to get me up into the mountains and through the courses and stuff like that. It's a great chair for for certain shoots. Other shoots, the manual chair is obviously better, because you got to go higher up. It just depends on the layout of the shoot. But you remember when we came across those big fallen oak trees, dude, and we had like 10, 15 people just chopping down trees, and we built a giant bridge over the
Oh yeah.
yeah. So there's these big oak trees that have fallen, probably three different oak trees, and it's a big oak tree, and then there's a big gap in between the second, and then there's a big gap, and then there's a third tree. So we had probably 10 people, 12 people out there, and we had sawzalls, we had hand saws, we had people just out there breaking branches, and it was so cool to see that, just to see the archery community just trying to help and just trying to get me through the next the next station on that. So on these 3D shoots is they'll have these rubber targets that are they're supposed to represent realistic animals. They're like a deer. It's a deer and it's made of rubber, and they'll stick it in the trees, and they'll have trails, and you shoot one target, and then you take the trail through the mountain, and then you find another target. But yeah, we're chopping down trees, and we built this big bridge. We probably ended up 30, 40 trees and branches and stuff just to fill in those holes. And then I took that action track chair, and we built a ramp leading up to the oak trees, and got up to the top, and had a couple people holding on because we didn't know how good our bridge was. But then okay, well, I have. If you guys want to check out my Instagram, I'll post it up here on this podcast, dude. And it was pretty cool to see like everyone just getting together, and that was almost the. I had more fun on that 3D shoot just trying to overcome logistics more than just shooting my bow. Like you're in the mountains and you're shooting bows, and you're with your friends, you're shooting the shit, whatever, and you're having a good time, but just overcoming the logistics of, like, like I said, building that bridge over the oak trees, or trying to get over the creek, and you're doing all this in a 500 I was doing all this in a 500-pound track chair. Like those things aren't light, and so that was my first time too, where I almost tipped the thing. I was shooting, and I was probably two or three targets in, and I almost went head first. I took it off this boulder and went down this boulder. I didn't think it was going to be too bad, but it ended up being a lot steeper than I thought. And dude, I was scared. I wasn't scared about falling out of the chair. I was more scared of this 500-pound wheelchair falling on top of me. You know what I mean? Like I'm already broke off, dude. I could definitely see that thing putting in some work on me. But that was a lot of fun. But yeah, man, we're hitting up TAC up in Utah. Do you know what mountain they have it at this year? Is it still
Brian
bright?
had this year. Brian had.
Brian Head. That's right. Yeah, that's right. I just saw the ad. So if you guys want to do a 3D shoot, Brian Head, Utah, it's called TAC Total Archery Challenge, and they're gonna put it up. And don't get me wrong, like you hear this and make it sound like, oh yeah, I can go in my wheelchair, it's gonna be accessible, it's gonna be rad. Like no, it's hard. Like they're gonna probably when I talked to the guys running TAC, we're because on these 3D shoots at these ski resorts, everybody hops on a lift chair and takes the lift chair up. But since I have my wheelchair, we're gonna have to hop in a car, drive all the way up, and then just take take the routes down. Then they have these trails down with the targets and stuff. So it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a lot of logistical work again. Like I'm probably definitely gonna have to wear my seatbelt because you're going downhill. Tumbling but we're gonna have fun, man. It's gonna be a blast. You weren't able to get out there last year, right? You had a last second work something, right?
No, it wasn't work last on that one. It was the real ID. We were going to fly because it was in Solitude, so it was too far to drive. We were going to fly, and I just spaced on getting my real ID in time and didn't want to risk getting to the airport and having delays or problems. So we did Cherry Valley, remember? We did the Cherry Valley shoot instead that was here in California. That's like a mini tack. And they were going
Yeah.
to fully accommodate you, but that's right when you hurt your arm, so you couldn't end up going to that one.
Right. That was a no, that was a China Peak.
China Peak, yeah, it's the whiskey something shoot, right?
Yeah, what
Team whiskey.
yeah, guys, check that out. Team Whiskey 3D archery shoot. They put on a killer archery shoot, and it sucked, man. They went and they dedicated their time and effort and made a wheelchair accessible freaking
Horse, yeah,
course. Yeah, it was a full course dedicated for me and my track chair, and so we were so stoked. We're on the way out there, and that's right when I tore my bicep tendon on my left arm. I am still healing from that till this day, and it's been 8 months, man, and several surgeries into it. It sucks, but yeah, dude, I was so bummed when we blew that. When I blew that, I'm driving and I can barely hold the steering wheel. My arm is just it's shaking too, and it hurts so bad. My girlfriend's like, dude, you're an idiot. Like, you're not going. Like, I'm telling you right now, turn around, go home. You're not going. And then realistically, it's like in my head, I'm like, oh, I got this. You know what I mean? But like realistically, dude, like I couldn't even hold up a soda can, let alone pull my bow back and stuff. So I was super bummed on that. But I'm pumped on that this year. China Peak with Team Whiskey, good people. Like I said, everybody, like when you get into the outdoors and you get into like hunting and shooting archery, like the outdoor family and just the community is so I don't know. It's hard to explain, but they love, like they show God's love, and I've come across so many rad people who are willing to help. And now, don't get me wrong, I met some absolute turds and some cool people, who in wolves in sheep's clothing. But you find out who's good and who's not. But the majority of people are going to help you out, and they're gonna accommodate. They're just stoked that you're putting in the effort to get out there and you're not sitting at home just bummed out, oh, my life sucks. No, dude, like get out there, have fun, and just take it one step at a time. You can just watch the domino effects happen. I don't know. What's your experience with the outdoor community? Like we got
it's a full on. I hate to say brotherhood because there are a lot of women involved too, but it's like all my wife's friends that are girls that are looking for guys and hit me up like you gotta have single friends. I tell them just go to one of these archery events. You'll find a good dude. It's all great dudes. I mean, it's obviously an expensive hobby. So you got guys that are obviously working. You're not getting deadbeats going to these things. You can't afford archery equipment if you're not working. So you got guys that are doing what they're supposed to do. I mean, I would say majority of the people out there are God, family, archery, It's like
big time, big time. I've noticed that about the outdoor community. It's a lot of faith, a lot of people who realize like God's creation and like God's handiwork in what we're able to experience. Because the more you're out in nature, and the more you're out of the city, or the more you're out of like your everyday life, and you get out into the trees and you get out into nature and you hear the birds squawking and the animals walking. But these 3D shoots, man, are super fun. I've done probably shoot, I don't know, let's say 10 so far. But super fun. I can't wait to we're doing China Peak, yeah? Or
depends on where it falls with TAC, but there's three of them. There's China Peak, Heavenly, and another one. Team Whiskey holds three different events, so we'll try and hit one of their events for sure.
absolutely, yeah. And they're good people. Like I said, they took their time and effort and dedicated a course just so I could take my track chair up there and just shoot targets. And that just goes to show the heart of people. So check it out, guys. It's called Team Whiskey, and it's a 3D. They have their 3D archery shoot, several different mountains, three different events. Just good people. And then there's TAC. There's a couple down in Southern California. There's the Bow Disciples. The what is that the turkey event down there as well? What is that? Were you there last year?
Turkey trot or something. They do it at have it at what is that lake out there? I can't remember. Henshaw, right? Out at Lake
Yeah,
Henshaw, they do
Lake
something,
Henshaw,
if I
yeah,
remember
and they
right.
have the turkey trot out there as well, and just
But the
go
Bow
out there
Disciple
and
shoot is super fun.
yeah. And a lot of these shoots, you guys, you have to be real, and you have to realize like they're not tailored for people in wheelchairs, dude. Like they'll like some of these courses they'll have tailored for like kids, you know what I mean? And those tend to be a little bit more wheelchair friendly, but a lot of these a lot of these courses are gonna be hard, and you're gonna have a solid group of people with you to, push your chair, get you through X, Y, Z, and there's just gonna be a lot of different logistics to go down. But that's what makes it fun, dude. That's it's if everything was easy, life would be so boring. It's those hard things that you have to put your mind to and get over it. That's why I love hunting and getting out there and doing just trying to find ways to, you know, be a ninja while you're freaking in a wheelchair is a little tough, dude. Not gonna lie, but we get it done, don't we?
Well, we do. How do you think it works in a wheelchair? Do you think you have an advantage or disadvantage as far as stability when you're shooting?
Well, with me, I broke my back right underneath my chest, so I have my abs are really I don't have a lot of good abs, so I'm really wobbly, but I'm able to find an anchor point where I can balance the weight of my bow with my weight of my body, and you just anchor yourself and pull back. But it's basically just, you're hunting in a chair. If you put yourself in a hunting blind and you're sitting in a chair, it's the same thing. But it's hard for me to say just because I've never shot archery with an able body. Like I didn't start shooting archery till I was 10 years deep into my spinal cord injury. But either way, you make it work. You find ways that work. Like on my bow setup, I've had to add a little extra weight on my stabilizer to counteract the weight of my body and just the angle of my body when I got to lean back, and every time I talk to people it's like, "Oh, don't lean back," but they don't. Anyway, lean back and then I got more weight to counterbalance because I don't have my abs, so I'm counterbalanced that whole time. So it's all just how your bow set up, how much weight you got on there, and yeah, I don't know if it's
Yeah, I
easy
didn't
or
think about
harder.
that 'cause you don't have your core. You don't have your core strength. Yeah, I can imagine it's a little bit
Yeah, the
difficult.
pain in the
I
ass,
mean, you would
but
think seated,
we get it done, and it's funny
yeah,
too
you'd
because
think being seated, you have that.
right, and
Sorry. I was
no,
just
you're
gonna say
good.
being seated, you think you have an advantage because you're more stable. But yeah, if you don't have that core strength, you're right. You're still just as subjective to wobbling around as we are on our feet.
Yeah, it's different. It is what it is. It's good fun. You figure it out, dude. Life, like I said, life would be boring if everything was easy. But it's funny. So the way I met Johnny is a funny story. You want to tell this story, or you want me to tell the story?
I can tell the story. So I was going to the gym. Usually I go at 5 in the morning, but it was one of those days where I didn't go at 5 in the morning. I was going in the afternoon and pull up to the gym and my lifted truck. And of course, I'm noticing other trucks just because that's what truck guys do. And there's this little semi. I don't know if yours is lifted. It just looks like it's got a leveling kit or lifted on it, but
2 inch
green
lift.
Tacoma in the handicap spot. So it's like I'm like seeing this truck that looks like it's an off-road truck parked in the freaking handicap, going, "Who is this douchebag taking the freaking front row handicap spot?" I just have it. It just rubs me wrong whenever I
Ready
see
to
that.
fight the
And
guy.
and so I walk around to the back of the truck. I notice there's freaking hunting stickers on it. I'm like, oh, this piece of work. This freaking hunter's freaking just gonna pull in and take some handicap spot, right? And I didn't notice any plaque or sticker on your car. First thing I'm thinking is a just douchebag, right? And then
Right.
this guy wheeling out, this guy right here wheeling out of the front door. And I don't remember if I held the door for you or not, but you dropped your phone or your wallet, and I picked it up and handed it to you as you were going to that green truck. And I remember asking you, "Is this your truck?" You're like, "Yeah." And I go, "And you hunt?" And you're all, "Hell yeah." I'm like, "Oh, shit." So we shot the shit for a minute and went and shot at Turner's that day, the indoor range, just to fling some arrows together. And I think we've been friends since. That's
Yeah,
just kind of
you
how
were
it went.
like after
But
we
yeah,
were talking. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying, it turned out he's not a douchebag. He really is a handicap guy who belonged in that spot. I mean, he might be a douchebag still, but hasn't been to me.
Yeah, it depends on how much sleep I get. But it was cool too because he was like, we shot the shit there right there in the front of the gym in the parking spot, and he's like, well, I'm going over to our local archery shop, and I'm gonna shoot later if you want to go. Like, yeah, dude, sounds good. We're talking, and when you invite someone you just met, you're like, oh, this guy's not gonna show up. It was a cool invite. You shoot someone an invite, and then you keep walking and you leave off, but. I showed up, man. I think it was like 2 hours later, I come rolling through the door in our archery shop, and Johnny's sitting there with another buddy, and yeah, and we just started shooting. And I think it goes a long way, when you invite somebody somewhere, you want to do something, and they actually put in the work and like actually show up and want to do it. Because like I've throughout my like before I got hurt, I traveled the world snowboarding. Before I was traveling, I would like always invite people like, "Hey, let's go snowboarding." Like, "Oh yeah, man, let's go." Or like even now, like people hit me like, "Oh, let's go hunting." I'm like, "Dude, I'm down. Let's go." This is what you got to do. You got to hunter safety license, da 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 da, blam blam, and they're flakes, dude. People just flake. You know what I mean? And you're gonna come across a lot of those in your life, especially dealing with disabilities. It is what it is. There's solid people out there, but there's also a lot of clowns, dude. You just got to separate the wheat from the chaff, like it says in the Bible. But yeah, I showed up and we just started shooting, and now we're shooting 3D. Now we're shooting critters, and like I've said in this podcast before, is like you're gonna meet a lot of cool people, dude. And then it's just the domino effect. You put in work and just watch the dominoes or like the snowball, a snowball going downhill. It starts out small and gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. So it's just the community. It's the life that we chose to live. And when you decide and you find this life you want to live, like archery, hunting, and shooting, all that stuff is like you're gonna gravitate towards other people who are into that same stuff. You know what I mean? Like you're gonna I don't know what I'm trying to say is like you'll meet a bunch of people, but then you're not gonna want to hang out with all of them except, your hunting buddies, dude.
No, it's definitely a community. I mean, everyone wants to belong. Everyone has that tribal belonging deep down, and it's definitely your people. If you shoot archery and you're into hunting, you go to these events, you might meet somebody for the first time there, but you'll talk to them like you've known them 10 years. I mean, you guys just have so much in common, and it's usually, like I said, the same ground roots too, God, family, it's all guys that are disciplined, taking care of business that are in this community. You don't get, it's probably a stigma. People imagine these redneck dudes from Louisiana that are the bow hunters. Well, those redneck dudes from Louisiana can't afford to go to these events. So you're going to find dudes that are handling business, taking care of what they need to take care of, and good, solid, grounded dudes that are involved in
Right.
this community is what it is. So, I mean, immediately you guys, whoever you meet at these things, two guys can meet and they immediately have so many things in common that it just feels like you've known them a lot longer than, 5 minutes after you start talking. But
100%. And another cool thing about these 3D shoots, you guys, is that there's a lot of vendors there, man. Like all like these cool companies, and they're gonna go and I've there's been several events where I've gone and I found just different things to help me in my bow hunting I don't know career, my bow hunting hobby is there's a oh yeah, there's a my buddy I'm gonna have on here on the podcast soon. His company's called Bow Hitch, and he's got a super cool attachment that goes onto your bow that attaches and it just attaches to your backpack or to I have it attached to my jacket and I got a strap that goes around. I got a Jimmy rig. But it's cool because I can put that on and then it can roll and then not have my bow flopping everywhere, but it attaches and just goes. But it's just vendors. There's gonna be vendors and all kinds of cool people you're gonna meet. And yeah, super pumped, man. I can't wait. It's like when it's not hunting season, it's 3D season. There's and then you could always, buy your own 3D target and go out to your local fields and pluck away.
yeah, there's always something in season. That's what my wife always says. She goes, I don't know what you're talking about. Deer season's over because then it's going to be 3D season or it's coyote season or pig season. She's like, you always find a season for something. I go, well, it's a good thing there is then because life would get boring part of the year otherwise.
Yeah, yeah, no, 100%, man. And it's if you're willing to put in the work and you're willing to figure it out, you're gonna find something. You're gonna find, there's always something to do, and there's always a season for something. I mean, even coyotes, you could go and shoot coyotes 24/7, 365, dude. Like, but then there's turkey season, deer season. You go out to Texas, shoot hogs, whatever, California hogs. And so your sister was that your sister's property up there by San Jose? She's got a hog problem, dude.
Yeah, she's got a pig problem up in Almaden, South San Jose, where I grew up. So we'll have to get up there and handle
North
that.
Northern California, yeah. Johnny showed me a video. No matter where these pigs go, all through the South or all, Northern California, man, they just do damage. They just tear up everywhere, man. And
They'll
yeah,
root and they're dangerous for, I mean, even your dogs or little kids. I mean, they'll tear a grown man up if they get a hold of them and get
oh
their,
yeah, especially those boars with their tusks, man. Yeah, that's an animal who will fight back. And as a politicians are like, oh, you don't need an AR-15, shoot pig. Yeah, have you ever come face to face with 10 boars, with their tusks out, ready to put in work, put you in the ground? But anyway, that's me going off on a tangent on a rant. I don't even bring politics into this because then I'll keep going. But yeah, man, those California pigs they're big, man. So would
I'll have
love
to
to.
get up there for that. Pig is, yeah, year round too. Well, we'll have to do that for sure coming up. It's just, I think the hardest challenge for me about in hunting is finding the time to go hunting. It's like I
Right,
was talking before we started the podcast. I can't relax in the woods unless I feel like everything's taken care of at home first. I always have had the ethic built into me that work first, play later. If you can't,
right.
you can't enjoy playing unless all the work's done. Is basically how it works in my head. So a lot of times I'll plan these hunts and stuff, and owning your own business doesn't always allow me just to be like, oh, it's on the calendar. I'm leaving now. I can't leave the guys, can't leave a project undone. So that's the biggest challenge I think for me, hunting in the thick of 4 kids and a business. um, you got to find the time. Like you said, you gotta just make the time. It's definitely rewarding and resetting and
Clear your head.
rejuvenating at the same time. But on the other end of the spectrum, I think it's not a cheap hobby. It's an expensive hobby. Once you have all the equipment and stuff, I think it's a little bit better. But you're still taking off work. You're still spending money to travel and all that. So I'm not one of these millionaires that can just take off for 2 weeks and freaking be okay. My business doesn't run itself yet. So I think
Yeah.
that's the biggest challenge I've found with hunting so far. But that's why I say this year I'm going to make more quality instead of quantity hunts. I feel like the little jumps, little 2, 3 day weekend hunts, they're fun and they're rejuvenating. But I think if I better and just set aside time to take off work and do a little bit longer, but a couple times a year instead of more frequently. I think that's what my goal will be this year as far as the hunting challenge goes, getting away.
Well, I'm rooting for you, buddy, because I know I'm probably going to be on half those hunts. So definitely rooting for you. Um, can you hear me? I hate the internet. I hate
Yep.
technology.
Yep. I
There
can
we
hear
go.
you. It's glitching a little bit, but we're
Yeah,
good.
technology. I just want to pay all this money for good internet and then it just sucks on you. So, but anyway, Johnny Zarvos, super stoked. Thank you for taking the time to, you know, come out of your busy life, dude, to hop on the pod and just help give the listeners some information and wisdom about turkeys and bows and 3D shoots, man, and everything we talked about. I was super stoked.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. We'll
Sweet
have
deal,
to
buddy.
get our calendars together here and plan out this year.
Yeah, we'll figure
All
it
right,
out. We'll
bud.
get it
Well,
going.
thanks for having me on.
Yeah, buddy.